from the Sydney Underwater Gazette, the mighty Nyrie Palmer. How are you, Nyrie?
Good morning. I'm great, thank you.
Well, you're great now, but what happened on Sunday?
Sunday was a fail. I went diving on a boat and I was sick before, during and after my dives.
What, with COVID or something like that?
If sport, I'd represent Australia.
Seasickness, no way. What happened?
I took drugs before I left home, but I didn't have my little toolkit of all the magic drugs that I have from around the world, and I needed one that I'd left in the car.
And so what are the different types of seasickness?
There's a number of underlying causes for seasickness. Usually it's because there's a mismatch between the sensory inputs received by the brain from the eyes and the inner ears. Yeah. When you're on a boat, your eyes see the boat as stationary, but the rest of but your inner ears detect motion. And this confuses the brain and that makes you feel sick. So that's why looking at the horizon is good for some people, but not me.
Didn't work for you. What's the other one?
There's positional vertigo, and that's caused when tiny crystals in the inner ear fluid dislodge, and they send a false signal to the brain that you're moving, and the brain adjusts to compensate. But since you're stationary, the brain just makes you feel like you're moving.
Oh, so how do I test for that?
Well, if you look at somebody's eyes that have it, the eyes dance and bounce around in your head, their head, so you can really, really tell.
But there's another reason for seasickness and vertigo.
Yes, the final is to do with accumulation of fluid in the ear, and that may be improper drainage because of congestion and allergies, or it could also be genetics in the case of Meniere's disease. So thanks, Mum, for that one.
Thank you, Mum. What other treatments for these special types of seasickness?
The treatments for seasickness include antihistamines, anticholinergics, and neurotransmitter disruptors.
Big names. Take me through antihistamines first.
So antihistamines are my drug of choice. I take them half an hour before I go in the water. They block the histamine receptors in the brain that are associated with detecting motion, and they also reduce congestion, so that allows the ear and the fluid and the air to move more freely. They can make you drowsy, so just try different ones to see which works best, or do what I do and preload on caffeine.
And what are anticholinergics?
They block the nerve signals to the muscles in your throat that give you that nauseated feeling. And when you're on a cruise and you see people with patches behind their ear, that's what they're taking. You can't get those in Australia because they can cause hallucinations and paranoia, which you really don't want when you're stuck on a ship or a dive boat.
Yeah, probably not. What's the last type?
The last type's neurotransmitter disruptors. These are amazing. They use them for cancer patients. Some target serotonin receptors, and an example is Adanzatron, which is my favourite. And others like Maxilon, they disrupt the dopamine receptors. They're amazing, but they are prescription only.
And that would have helped you on Sunday?
I would have traded my kingdom for a wafer of Adanzatron on Sunday.
And Maxilon is just another example of that one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
What about
just
if
a different mechanism?
Wanted to do the non-medical solutions?
So I mentioned the positional vertigo with the dancing eyes.
Yeah.
If you do what's called an Epley maneuver, you can use gravity to move the crystals through the labyrinth in the inner ear to where they belong.
Wow.
And it's a series of twisting movements that you can do while you're laying down. You can look it up on YouTube.
And so what, gravity moves the crystals back to where they belong?
Yeah, exactly. And other non-medication options include ginger and pressure point wristbands, which are great if placebos work for you. But I don't mess around. I go with the hard stuff.
But a little word of warning.
Before you delve into this wild world of medication, consult your doctor just to check drug interactions and safety given your medical history, especially if you're pregnant. And give the medication a trial run before you hit the water to make sure it agrees with you first.
Now, for those who aren't seasick and are just charge out, it looks as though it's going to be a little bit rough on top of the water. What's it like going to be under the water?
Oh, horrid. With the rough swell and a period of 11 seconds, you're going to feel that at depth. So going on a boat will be a disaster. But yeah, if you do go out, don't forget your seasickness tablets. And one last message, Warren, I'm sorry again about your towel on Sunday.
Oh, no. What's the visibility like if I do go diving this weekend?
Sorry?
What's the visibility like if I do go diving this weekend?
Oh, if you go in a sheltered place, it's about 6 meters was what we were experiencing yesterday. But I just wouldn't even go out. I don't think it's even worth bothering. It could be 2 meters.
Nah, stay indoors and look up everything on the Sydney Underwater Gazette Facebook page, where you'll see the red Indian fish at Bear Island if Vicky Swinnerton took a photo of it this week.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They shed their skin in one piece.
No way. Fascinating stuff under the water. You can find out more at the Sydney Underwater Gazette. And Nyrie Palmer, you have a non-seasick weekend.
Yeah, I'll be on a land lover this weekend.